The altimeter is spinning the wrong direction. That's the last thing you register before the missile finds you. Not an explosion, exactly. More like the world deciding it's done with you. The F-15 doesn't die gracefully. It comes apart like something angry, and then the ejection seat kicks you out of it at 600 miles per hour, and you're tumbling through cold black sky over western Iran at 2:47 in the morning. You're 29 years old. You've logged 1,400 flight hours. You've never been shot down. Until now. The chute deploys. Your spine thanks you for the harness. Below you, what used to be an $87 million aircraft is raining down and burning pieces across a mountain ridge. And somewhere beneath that ridge are people who will very shortly be looking for whoever was flying it. You hit the ground harder than you expect. Left ankle folds wrong. You're up anyway, collapsing the chute, pulling it into a ditch, covering it with rocks and brush in the dark. Your hands are moving on instinct, because instinct is the only thing that works right now. You take stock. Survival kit, intact. Sidearm, present. Emergency beacon. You look at it for a long moment, then clip it to your vest without activating it. The beacon tells command where you are. It also tells everyone else. In this valley, with whoever shot you down still out there, those are two very different problems. You'll decide that later. Right now, you need to move. The ankle holds if you don't think about it. Your training tells you to get to high ground, establish position, wait for rescue. Your training was written by people who've never been shot down over a country that considers you an act of war. You move laterally along the ridge instead, away from the wreckage, because whatever search party is coming will start there. You have 6 hours until dawn. You grew up in Bakersfield, California, middle child of a woman who taught 3rd grade and a man who fixed HVAC units and never quite forgave you for preferring books to football. You joined ROTC because the scholarship covered tuition, and you stayed because something about formation flying made the noise in your head go quiet. Turns out you're good at quiet, good at precise, good at holding still while everything around you moves too fast. Your call sign is Ghost. You never thought much about why. By the 2nd hour, you've put 2 kilometers between yourself and the impact site. The terrain is rough, loose shale, sudden drops, thorn brush that tears at your flight suit. Your ankle has graduated from a dull ache to something with opinions. You can hear helicopter rotors in the distance, sweeping the valley floor. They're not looking casually, they're looking like they know what they're doing. You make a decision. You find a cut in the hillside, barely a crack in the rock face, and you go in sideways and don't come out. You wedge yourself into the dark, and you breathe slow, and you listen. The helicopters pass twice. The second time, they use a searchlight. You close your eyes when it sweeps overhead, because somewhere in your training, you learned that open eyes reflect light, and you don't know if that's actually true, but this is not the moment to test theories. They pass. You stay in the crack for another hour, just to be certain. You eat 1 of the 3 protein bars in your kit. You drink from the hydration bladder sparingly. You do the math nobody wants to do. You have enough supplies for 3 days if you're careful. The nearest border is 180 kilometers less. Your left ankle is not walking 180 kilometers. Someone is coming for you. That's doctrine, that's policy, that's the promise they make when they put you in the seat. The question is, who gets to you first? Dawn finds you higher on the ridge, tucked beneath an overhang, watching the valley wake up below. There's a village, maybe 40 houses, a road, a truck moving dust down a dirt track. Ordinary, the kind of ordinary that exists everywhere in the world, the kind that has nothing to do with you and your government and the complicated reasons you were flying over it at 2:47 in the morning.
An old man leads 2 goats along the base of the ridge. He stops. He looks up. He looks directly at you, or at the place where you are, which is not the same thing but feels the same. You go completely still. He looks for a long moment. Then he clicks at the goats and keeps walking. You breathe. The Iranians find the chute on the second afternoon. You're watching from half a kilometer up when the truck stops and the soldiers get out and start working the area in a pattern you recognize. Grid search. Systematic. They're trained too. They're also finding your boot prints in the soft earth near the ditch. You move. You move for 6 hours without stopping, pushing west, ignoring the ankle, rationing your water to 4 sips per hour by count. You find a dry stream bed and follow it because stone doesn't hold prints. Your brain, when it isn't calculating distance and time and whether you're dying, keeps sending you strange things. Your mother's kitchen, the smell of your girlfriend's shampoo, the exact feeling of your first solo flight, 17 years old, the moment the runway fell away below you and you were the only thing holding you up. You think about whether she knows yet. On the third night, you find the shepherd. You don't mean to find him. You come around a boulder at midnight and he's just there, sitting by a very small fire, wrapped in a blanket, staring at you like you're a particularly unusual kind of weather. He's maybe 60. His face is a map of a hard life. He doesn't reach for anything. He just looks at you. You speak no Farsi. He speaks no English. You put your hands up, slowly, and you point west, and you try to make your face say, "I just want to go home." He studies you for a long time. Then he holds out a piece of flatbread. You hesitate for exactly 1 second, because your training has opinions about this too, and then you take the bread, because you haven't eaten in 18 hours, and your training can reconcile itself with reality on its own time. It's the best thing you've ever tasted. He doesn't turn you in. You don't know why. Maybe he has sons and imagines them cold on a foreign hillside. Maybe he just doesn't like whoever is in those trucks. Maybe he's simply a man who saw another man hungry in the dark and did the thing in front of him. You'll never know. Some things that save your life don't come with explanations. He points you to a track through the hills, narrow but passable, and makes a gesture you eventually interpret as before light. You nod. He nods back. You leave him to his fire and you follow his track through the dark. Rescue comes at dawn on day 4, in a valley you navigated to by memory and a partial compass bearing, and what you will later describe in your debrief as educated stubbornness. A pair of special operations helicopters come in low and fast, and for a moment your hand goes to your sidearm from pure reflex, and then you see the markings, and something in your chest unlocks so completely that your legs just stop working. You sit down on the ground. They reach you before you can stand back up. In the hospital in Germany, your squadron commander sits across from you and says, "You made every right call out there." You think about the shepherd and his bread. You think about the old man with the goats who looked at you and kept walking. You think about the beacon you never activated. You think about 180 kilometers and 1 bad ankle and the math that didn't add up but somehow came out right anyway. You nod. You don't correct him. Some things that happened to you out there belong to you and the dark and the strangers who helped you through it, and no debrief touches them. You were a ghost in the hills for 4 days, and now you're back in the world of fluorescent lights and paperwork and people who want to write the story cleanly. The story isn't clean. You're alive. For now, that's the whole of it.